everybody, Joe Brady coming to you from my kitchen, and I'm here to talk about ISO. Now that sounds like a weird combination, but all will be clear shortly. Now, I've got my camera here, and there are three settings I need to concern myself with, and those are the three settings that make up something called the exposure triangle. So let's talk about the three parts of the exposure triangle. Number one, shutter speed. That's pretty easy to understand. How long is the camera open to let light hit the sensor? Two, aperture. How big is the opening on the lens? In essence, how big is the window for light to get through to hit the sensor? And three, ISO. What is ISO? It seems a little bit more mysterious. Think of ISO as the volume control on your camera. It's not really sound, except its sensitivity to light, or it's amplifying the light that is hitting the shutter. When you boost the ISO, you're basically turning up the volume. But keep in mind that all electronic stuff has a base level of noise. And as you increase the volume, the noise comes with that. Now, there are lots of softwares and technical stuff to reduce that amount of noise, but that's what's going on. You need to understand that you don't want to have too much noise in your photos. But it's better to get the right photo than not get it at all. You're better off with some noise than no photo at all. The reason I'm in the kitchen is just as another way to explain this. So let's take a look. I've got a cup here, a measuring cup filled with water, actually two cup measuring cup. Now imagine that when I fill this up to the 2 cup level, that would represent the perfect exposure. So what is shutter speed? Well, shutter speed is how long the water is being poured in. So if I do that and then stop, well, that was too short a shutter speed to fill up this cup. I need to keep it going. And now I have my correct exposure. Next one is aperture. That's how big the opening is. Well, I have an open top here, so if I just start pouring, I can let it go all the way, and there was enough light and enough water coming in to fill the cup. Again, aperture is the window that lets things in. We saw it with the cup, but what if you have a really small aperture? You want to get a lot of depth of field, and instead of being wide open like this, oh, how about something like this? I've got a little funnel here that's only got a little opening. If I pour that same water through here, I can pour it into the funnel as fast as I can, but the funnel is only going to let it out at a certain speed. That's the effect of having a smaller aperture. So where does that leave us with ISO? ISO is think of it as the pressure behind the water. So if I just do this, I'm just letting a little bit in at a time, that's not very high pressure. But if I turn the cup all the way upside down, it's putting a lot of pressure behind it, gravity takes effect, and it fills the cup quickly. ISO, again, is pressure. I can do that with the faucet here. If I just open the faucet a little bit, it takes a little bit of time to fill the cup. But if I open up the faucet all the way, it fills it up a lot faster. That pressure behind the water is, in essence, the ISO. So the ISO, think of it as the pressure to get the light in. The shutter speed's how long you have to fill. And the aperture is how big is the opening to let the light get in. Hope I didn't confuse things with that. I hope I made it a little bit clear that you understand what ISO is. Now, high ISO, what is a high ISO? Typically nowadays in a camera, high ISO is going to be 1600, 3200 or higher. There is a danger also associated with high ISO because you're going to increase the noise. That's okay, better to get the shot than not get it. But do understand that if you're shooting a high ISO and you underexpose, you're going to include a lot of noise because now you have an underexposed image and you're trying to boost the gain, the volume off of your sensor, and it's going to boost everything equally, and that includes the base noise that's in the sensor as well. So that's where high ISO can be something you have to pay attention to. Shoot the lowest ISO you can comfortably. Your cameras are either 160 or 200 as a base ISO. Even 400, you're not going to see a difference. 800, if the exposure is decent, you're not going to see a difference either. But when you get real high, 1600, 3200, 6400 and higher, you can still get your shots. They're going to be a little bit noisier, but you got the shot. And a friend once told me that if somebody's paying attention to the noise in your image, then it's not that particularly exciting a photograph. Better to get the shot than not get it at all. So I hope that made the whole ISO thing a little bit clearer. Think of it as the sensitivity, the volume, the pressure behind the light to give you the right exposure. I hope that made sense. I hope you enjoyed this. By the way, if you did enjoy it, let me know. And in particular, my wife Diane would like to know, because before I was able to come here and film in the kitchen, I had to clean the kitchen as well, and she really liked that part. So that's it for today. Have yourself a great week, and I'll see you online again soon. Bye-bye.